video, let's talk about releasing your mid and upper back and spinal mobility. So our previous video, and that's using our roller, because our previous video talked about leg work and then releasing and rolling our legs. And we have another one that is specific to shoulders and neck, because it's a little bit easier to use your roller if you divide your body up into sections and maybe do a small section in a day. It makes the whole thing a little bit more manageable. And you can pretty much roll every day. You're not really going to injure yourself. So for today, let's specifically talk about that spinal mobility and some of my favorite roller exercises for that. Grab your roller. For this, I like a nice comfy mat or comfy surface. And you can just place the roller, probably starting at your bra band for the first. Those hips are down, feet flat, knees bent towards the ceiling. Find that neutral pelvis. You can clasp hands behind your back. So start wherever you're comfortable. Maybe don't start in your biggest pain point. And we're just going to work with our breath. So if you want to, before you put the roller underneath yourself, you could just lay for a few minutes and breathe so you're connected. When you're ready, you're going to come here, hold the weight of your head in your hands, right? So you're not straining your neck. So you can really loosen and release all those muscles. If you want, like I said, start wherever you want. For today, I'll start a little bit higher up. On your inhales, you just fall back and open. On your exhales, that belly button to spine, you start to close those ribs, heavy into the roller. Let those hands carry your head up. Exhale to close. And you can really go a little bit further if you want that stretch. See how your spine is feeling. Do this as many times as you want. So this video is not forever. We'll just do about 3 or so in every spot. Move the roller down. Little by little, inching yourself. With your breath. And again, only go as far as is comfortable for you. Stay relaxed in that upper body. And when you get to that brow band, probably a lot of work to go much further than that. So again, stop where you're comfortable. And then either hands clasped behind your head, or you could have hands on thighs, whatever feels best for you. Gently lift those hips and roll. And again, roll in sections. So roll that upper back, just so that you're not placing too much pressure and strain on any muscles. And then you can roll that lower back. Again, I normally switch my support here, but do what feels good for you, because you can see that it makes my neck strain a little bit. Engage that core just for protection. And be mindful when you're rolling, you might need to wear different clothing. Gently drop those hips, bring yourself up. Again, you can take a lot more time doing this. You're welcome to do whatever feels good. And you can roll just, straight spine. You can also roll with a little bit of weight to either side. You can roll a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. And if that's good for you, you can stop there. If you want to add, again, being mindful, but a lot of tension and tightness can come from here, this side body, and that can be the tension and tightness you might feel in your hips. It can pull on your low back. It can really pull on your shoulders, your shoulder blades. So this is a really good spot to roll. Keep in mind, it may be very sensitive and tender for you. It's very sensitive and tender for me, one side versus the other especially, but wonderful activity. Laying on our sides, hips stacked, knees, ankles. We'll start on the left arm nice and long overhead, and all you do is lay here and breathe. You can have your arm wherever you want to support you. If you can, to add to the stretch, that right arm comes overhead. Breathe into it. Really let yourself melt that full weight of your body into the roller. As you start to feel that give, move the roller down. I mean, you can move your actual body, or you can just roll the roller depending on where you're laying. Again, taking as much time here, gently moving. And even if you come to a tight spot, which I'm coming to, really try and release into it. Breathe. Try not to hold that tension and tightness. Breathe into it, let it go. Keep moving. Relaxed in the shoulder, the neck. Let that tension go. Exhale and melt into it. And when you've done from armpit to rib, you can go back and just roll. Again, leave that neck resting on your arm, nice and relaxed, nice and soft. Roll. Break it up into chunks again if you need to. You can play with the weight, leaning back, leaning forwards. And then when you're ready, gently come up. Switch sides, you can just roll over. Coming onto that right side. Do any movements in between if you need. Then when you're ready, nice stack. Gently drop yourself down. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Let yourself melt into the roller. Right arm long. Left arm stretches as well. Breathe into it. Breathe nice and deep. Really feel that expansion and contraction. The widening of your rib cage and knitting together. You're fully surrendering over the roller. Taking your time. Again, you can take more time than I am here. I just don't want you to have to watch me do this for hours on end. Not that it would take that long, but I want to show you a bunch of different things that I like to do. And then again, when you come towards the bottom of your ribs, that's enough. And then you can just roll it out, relaxed onto that arm. Ear stays relaxed, so your neck is nice and loose, right? Nice and soft through here. Playing with the weight. You can lean backwards and forwards. Gently bring yourself up when you're ready. Roll it out. So you're welcome to do any of these individually that feel right for you, or you can add them all together. You can also do some of the legs, some of the upper body, some of the neck and shoulders. You can kind of make it work and flow for you, whatever little bits resonate. Another one that I really like, I'm going to switch sides again because this is a little tender. This one is, so this could be really, I don't want to say painful, but it can be really sensitive for you. Again, if you're really tight in here and you notice that laying did a lot. So if it is, I would recommend doing what we just did and then doing this next mobility exercise. If you feel a little bit open through here, you're welcome to just do that. Just really be mindful of how it feels in your body. You're going to want to come to lay closer to the edge of your mat. And again, you're going to start with that roller placed more towards up in your armpit. Hands are going to clasp behind your head, and your head can rest in that left hand. You're going to want to keep this stack because you're focusing on your mid and upper spine mobility. So you're going to want to try and keep hips stacked so your pelvis is in line, knees and ankles stacked. So really get comfortable here. Come towards the front end of your roller so you have a lot behind you. You can adjust this as you go. Take a big breath in. Exhale as you start to roll. You're going to take a little twist, and again, go as far as you can. And then inhale back if you can to open. Oh, I'm very tight. Bring yourself back up, back to center. Close it if you can, a little counter twist. Inhale to open. Exhale as you come over those tight tender spots. Inhale back if you can. Exhale, head lifts hands lift head. Bring yourself back. One more. Add as much breathing as you want. Take as much time as you want. And same with this, you just kind of slowly move through each spot with your roller. Just getting that big muscle that connects shoulders and hips. So again, it might be really tight. You might either feel the tension and tightness on the side that you're rolling, or you feel it when you're trying to twist and open. Or maybe you feel nothing and this is great. Stay relaxed in that upper body. Let yourself open as much as you can. Deep connected breath. Allow the crunching. As long as there's no pain, crunching's okay. Again, as long as you want with this, you can end with a little roll of the sides, and then you'll switch sides. Coming on that right, hips, knees, ankles stacked, closer to the edge of your mat, closer to the edge of your roller. Right elbow rests down, clasp hands, head is fully supported, so you're nice and relaxed coming from that upper body. Take a big breath in. Exhale to roll over that tight spot. Inhale to open. Bring yourself back up. And a little counter twist. And again, you can adjust that roller. Sometimes I like to have it on a bit of an angle, so as I twist, it supports my back. I also notice on one side, as I roll over, I get a clunking when I come off of my shoulder blade over that big tight muscle. Again, that's okay, as long as it's not painful for you. I would also recommend, again, paying attention to the pain factor versus tightness factor. If you have an acute injury at the time, maybe like a rib out, be super mindful. Maybe this isn't the right time for you to be doing this. Because you don't want to. So if you have, say, a rib out or something like that, all your muscles are already, you can keep going, going to be tight around the rib or whatever's like an acute injury at the time. So if you're rolling over those muscles, you're going to keep agitating them and you're not going to really be able to heal. They might make it so that it's harder for you to have that rib adjusted back into place. I've had that happen. So again, just be super mindful of where you're at. While rolling is very safe, it's definitely good for preventative and healing. Not always great right at the time of an acute injury. Again, once we're done this side, you can roll it out. Head nice and relaxed. And know you can go as high as you want on this arm as well. This area in here, in behind your armpit, is really sensitive and tender, and again, it can hold a lot of muscle strain, so that's another good spot to roll out. So get nice and high. You can do the whole back of that arm as well if you want. Really releasing any of this area is really good for those shoulders and any shoulder tightness and tension that you're feeling. So that was a good mobility one. Once we've done that, again, you can move on to something else. You're also welcome to, again, depending on how you feel, just doing from this spot. You can do mobility here, side to side. This one might be a little bit more of a workout at the same time. Trying to keep knees, pelvis, again, focusing on just twisting mid and upper back. So you can do that roll side to side. If you need a little bit more mobility, this is also a good side body stretch. Again, be super mindful how you feel. Trying to sit, let's switch sides again. Trying to sit with both sits bones down, hips heavy on that left side. I'm gonna come into those mermaid, deer legs, whichever you wanna call them, where your left leg's bent in front, right leg's bent off to the side. Depending on how this feels for you, it might be easier for you to almost have your legs tucked in a little bit tighter if your hips are really tight. If they're not, you can have a little bit more of like an open 90-degree position. So I would sit closest to the end of your mat. Roller is going to start kind of at the base of that hand at your wrist. You're going to inhale up and over, roll back up. Inhale up and over. You can make this a twist too. Really go as far as you can. Careful with your movements, be mindful. I mean, if you're feeling okay, you do you. But if you find that anything's really tight or tender, you can kind of isolate the movement so you're not trying to do too much at once. And by isolate, I mean, as opposed to like coming up, twisting on your way down, which is a great mobility because you're getting that cross, you're getting that roll. So it's great for your spine, but if this is your first time or you want to take it a little bit slower, depending on how you're feeling, you can come up, lift up and over, and then you can start to twist to the side and come down. Open, come back up, or again, you can come up and you can just start to roll and twist, pushing out through that bra band, rounding out that spine so that you're both arms, and roll. Do whatever feels the best for you. A few times on the one side, switching to the other when you're ready. Again, this might feel different depending on how open you are in your hips even. Always keep in mind that there's a huge connection all the way from your toes through your head. So one side might feel a little better than the other. Hips nice and heavy to start. Sitting on that right side, that outside of glute. Legs. Sit nice and tall to start. Wrist comes down. Inhale yourself up and out of those hips. And over. And you want that feeling of someone pulling your hand up and out as you come over, as opposed to just starting to bend and fold here, bending into that arm. You really want to draw yourself up, lengthen as you start to move that spine. And again, if just this is all you need, Just helps bring a little extra length and stretch into like a regular up and over kind of movement. If you want to, you can add that extra twist. And you do whatever feels the best for you. Those, my friends, when you're done, some of my favorite little mobility things, I would recommend coming back to sit, doing a little check-in with the rest of your body, see how you feel. A great way to end this, to make sure you haven't created any extra tension, is just to do those little chicken wing arms. So arms come up into your little goal post, and you just let them flop back and forth. You let the shoulders rise and fall, and you just let it all go. Shake it off. Take a big breath in. Let it go. Know that everybody's body may be different. From my personal perspective, if I do a lot of that releasing in the upper mid back and a lot of that spinal mobility, I start to notice that I do get tight in my hips and my low back. So either you can start at your feet, work your way up day by day. So maybe your Monday is like your feet day, Tuesday is your lower legs and upper legs, maybe Wednesday is like your hips, Thursday is that spinal mobility, Friday shoulders and neck. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you chunk it up into little bits, it's actually a little bit easier. So that as you work your way up, releasing, you don't find that as you release something below it is still tight and tender. Yeah, tight and tender really. So just a recommendation, do what feels good for your own body. That's what feels good for mine. So mindful breaths, see how I feel. Is there any tightness left? Do I need to do any final movements? Do I need to do any extra twisting and mobility? If you need some extra spinal mobility, you can check out some of the other videos for that we have in the slow stretches category. Or again, you can check out that other roller video for the lower body, or any of the hip release. Just be really mindful as you're releasing parts of your body. You may aggravate other parts of your body, and that's totally okay. That's the fun of your little human being machine. So big breaths. Let it go. Maybe some of those head movements. When you're ready, sitting nice and tall, we'll close the practice together. Inhale those arms overhead, your palms to touch. Exhale to heart center. Maybe you want to breathe in that feeling of release, relax, and surrender. Bring it in. Let go of any of that tightness or tension that does not serve you. This is true for your body. This is true for your mind, your spirit, your being, your emotions. Bring it in. Surrender and release. Exhale, let go of anything that does not serve you. As always, I thank you for joining me. Namaste.